motherfucker cold. Just got done walking in the snow. Goddamn that motherfucker cold. Just got done walking in the snow. Goddamn that motherfucker cold. Just got done walking in the snow. Goddamn that motherfucker cold.
But that's all they had. It was just cartoons all the time. And they had a cartoon.
And there were ads all the time. That was annoying.
I don't know.
That's how TV was back in the day.
Oh, you're talking about a thing called commercials.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Oh my
Great, weird story, right? And then what would happen is it was all cartoons, and they had, oh man, Johnny Bravo. But there was a show called Ed. Johnny Bravo popped in my head. I don't know why. Ed, and Eddie. And it was three dudes. And they were, one was named Ed, and then one was named Ed. And then there was a third one. Can you guess his name?
Maybe Eddie.
Eddie, yeah. And then there was a very stereotypical Asian kid whose best friend was a piece of wood, and it was called Plank.
What?
Yep. But what's going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE. The Ed that has too many jawbreakers, joined along with my other co-host, Ed, also known as Cole.
I can't remember well enough if that is the best Ed, or Eddie to be. The Ed with two
Ed,
D's, right?
Yes, there was Ed, and then there was double D. And then Dexter can be our Eddie.
Yay.
I wouldn't yay that if I were. Go watch the show first.
Okay.
And then tell me whether he was the, well, just go watch his show. But it's time for part 2 of our spoiler episode. We had quite a long episode last week. I don't know how long this one's going to be. More stuff was revealed, spoiled, if you will. All these spoilers, yet the 67th best content creator couldn't get one.
Nope.
I'm not my feelings aren't hurt.
You definitely have not mentioned it a time or two.
Never. You know, I'm gonna mention it until all of a sudden they're like, fine, we'll just give, and maybe they won't. Maybe they just won't even pay attention to us. Who knows? That's probably what will happen.
I was going to hop on like an hour or so early and put images in order of the ones that were revealed between now and the last episode.
Yeah, because we have a few extra ones here. I don't know. I didn't go back and really look what was added.
Yeah,
here.
Dexter DM'd us a list.
Yeah.
So we will just skip the Ortis and Ysmir ones because we're doing that in full on this episode.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah,
I do like some of the Lyra ones, I'm not gonna lie. Will-O-the-Wisps, kind of dope. Like, it's not a good card, I don't really think, but
it's better than you think.
Is it? I don't know. I dig kind of the aesthetic that's going on over there. The Magpen Hoarder reminds me of my wife, hoards everything. My children don't have school tomorrow, so if you hear things going on in the background, that's them. There's an off day on Monday.
Why is there no school tomorrow?
Dude, who knows, man? These kids get so many days off, it's unreal. I feel like old man who barks at cloud now too, because that's like all I do is like complain about my children's school, and I feel like that's all my parents did. Like, you kids get so many days off school. And now here I am doing the same thing. Like, why do you have this random Monday? Like, literally, they just had like 2 days off. Yeah, last week they had Monday off, and then they called off Tuesday because it was too cold. It was negative 33 here in Wisconsin.
Dope.
It's a little cold.
So they said it was too cold to go to school. Some of my kids had exams, so they had to like push all those back, and now they just have another Monday off again. Why not, right? So if you do hear stuff in the background, it is the little ones running around. The wife has decided to give them some time to have a little bit of fun. We all need a little bit of fun every now and again. And that's why we're all here. I saw Ogre pop in. Where'd he go? Did you like invite him to chat? And he's like, oh no.
Nope.
Well, fair enough then.
Hello.
Bye.
Dexter, the list that you put together, do you know which ones are not Ortis and Ysmir?
Oh, none of them are.
Oh, look at that! You made a list
I
that
only
was.
grabbed the ones that
look,
Mark orders some use there.
Look
I
at
did the
you.
smart
I don't
thing.
know where he made
All right,
this
so yeah.
list. It was not shared with me.
DM'd it. It definitely was.
I missed it then. Oh well. Anyways, let's start out with Hound. That's where we want to start, right? Hound. The 2 from hand, 2 from reserve, 2/2/0. When played from anywhere, if my expedition is behind, I gain 1 boost. Don't all talk at once. I don't know. Otherwise, just send me over the list. I don't know.
Yep.
It's in your DMs.
I don't see it. I'm blind. You have to help me. Is it a link? What is it? Or is it just this
Okay, I'll
hand?
DM it
Is it
straight
just
to
this
you.
handwritten list that Dexter put together?
Yes.
It's like written in crayon.
So
No.
so should be our first
All
one.
right, fine. What is
So is the
what is
first one we're
so
looking
in?
at.
Is that in Muna? I'm guessing.
It-
Sounds like a Muna card.
Yes.
That is in there.
All right, let me.
It is a Muna card.
Let me find. Is it in order of house or faction?
No,
Or am I
it's
gonna
in
be-
order of when it was released.
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to Control F this, aren't I? All right, so SOW. All right, so back to Muna we go. 1 from hand, 1 from return, 1 from reserve spell cooldown. If I go to reserve after my Freck resolves, exhaust me. Exhausted cards can't be played on and have no support abilities. Target character gains 1 boost. The rare version is a 1-for-1 again with cooldown. Target character gains 1 boost. With a quick, I'm sorry, these both have quick actions. A little different for the common one. The next character you play has 1 boost this turn. For the rare, it is target character with hand cost 3 or less gains anchored. And then it goes into Bravos with cooldown. Target character gains 1 boost. Target character with hand cost 3 or less gains anchored. Same as the rare.
I don't know.
Hey, this one's
play Muna.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one's hard because I think the rare is actually really good, but
it's a rare.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a rare, so we know how we are, selective about our rares. I think that simple fact makes it probably not go in most decks. The common.
What about the Bravos one? Bravos likes boost.
Yeah,
seems to be a thing that maybe would be up their alley, but maybe not. They might have better out there.
Yeah, I think the rare, because it's the same in Bravos, and of course it's out of faction, so it's also a rare. I think it's low cost, which is great, but I don't think the benefit is good enough to warrant a rare slot. But who knows? The quick action anchored ability is very good in Muna. And Bravos is seeing a lot of removal of fleeting and cards sticking around, so maybe we'll see it get some play.
Yeah.
All right. Next one up, also in Muna. I swear we went over this one already, or maybe I was just poking around Reddit and saw
Yeti was not fully revealed at that time.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeti was the one
Reddit.
that I told you I can't tell you what it does, but
I can't
know
tell
what it
you
does.
what it does. All right, Yeti is a 3 from hand, 4 from reserve, 2/2/2. When played from hand, it gains a sleep. When another character joins my expedition, I gain 1 boost. The rare version is a 3/4, 2/3/3. When played from hand, you may have me gain a sleep. When another character joins your expedition, it gains 1 boost. And the rare just goes into... I'm sorry, the faction split just goes into Bravos, and it is the same as the rare.
Yep, great card. Love to see it. And hopefully there will be some busted uniques that can just... after you play a card, it gets 2 boosts or some crazy stuff that I've seen.
Nah, it's not an Ortis. Don't get crazy.
Yeah, this Yeti is it's probably going to be in almost every
every
Muna deck. It's a better Kodama, and it's 3 cost or less from hand. So It's going to gain a sleep when it first comes out, and then you're probably just
Then
going
you're
to
gonna
keep
anchor it.
anchoring it.
Yeah.
And you got to think that if you play this first, and then even if you have to wait until next turn, but you play like a Dracana or something,
It'll get a boost.
on Tasia, that's 2 boosts for that Dracana, which is going to also be auto-anchored.
Sweet.
Good card.
Let's go.
I don't know if Bravos runs this.
Probably
Probably some decks will.
not.
I don't know. We'll see.
Probably not.
Yeah. Bravos has just got so many options this set that it'll be a hard-fought slot.
Yeah.
Let's move into Vanky. This is an Axiom. He's the Energy Pioneer, or she.
Oh my gosh.
Either or.
Yeah.
2 from hand, 2 from reserve, 2/2/2. You may play exhausted cards from your reserve. The rare version is 2/2, 1/2/2. You may play exhausted cards from your reserve. And then exhausted resupply. And then the rare gets transferred over into Ysmir with the same as the rare.
Yeah, this card is super good. I think pretty much all Axioms are going to be at least running the common. And then I've seen a few people already playing on BGA running the rare. I don't know if the rare makes sense just because rare slots are limited, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, it's only 2 from both areas, and the exhausted resupply and then being able to play it is pretty good for Axiom. A lot of people were worried about Traced in this set and the whole exhausted resupply thing. I could easily see Traced running this rare in deck a lot, just because it will make it so your opponent cannot exhaust your reserve and it stop you, and it'll also give you resupply, which Trace loves.
So off topic, I know we're doing
see
spoilers. Sorry. Off topic, I know we're doing spoilers. Just, kind of poking through. I'm still pretty casual in this game. I'm not quite in the competitive realm yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel like, the whole thing was, and Cole, you were talking about this was going to give options to, or is going to give support to characters that may have not gotten it set 1.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just looking for better cards for all the good heroes from set 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
am I crazy feeling that or not? No.
No, that's what is happening.
I still hold true that is what this set is 100%.
I mean, it definitely are getting support.
I'm not saying it's not giving them support, but I don't feel it elevated any of those heroes into the conversation.
Yeah, it's not enough in most cases for it to bring them above Trace, Stephanus, Iggy, whatever.
I don't know, I'm telling you. Ghoulrang is already feeling amazing, and I haven't even...
But it's Ortis. Does it ever feel bad?
I played Ghoulrang before Trial by Frost and lost 7 in a row.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
I just won 6 games in a row on Waru with the updated list with a few more Trial by Frost cards. And then I got killed by...
Yeah, the hard thing is more support for heroes that didn't have it very well before means that the heroes that were good before also have access to more options. So
fair enough. Let's move into the Little Match Girl.
I hate this card.
I wanted this card to be cooler than it was, but I understand it's a family-friendly game. 2 from hand, 3 from reserve, 3/0. When played from reserve, if your hand is empty, draw a card. The rare, 2 from hand, 3 from reserve, 3/0. Again, if you played from reserve, if your hand is empty, draw a card. If your reserve is empty, draw a card. And then this moves into Bravos, being the common version.
Wookie, talking about this being a family-friendly game, I did notice Fire Rabbit has some interesting flavor text.
You
want to read that?
Well, I'm going to let you guys talk about this when I go look at Fire Rabbit. Hot bunny in your area wants to meet. Fair enough.
They just put that in a family-friendly game?
I mean, again, it's if you know, you know, right? Like, if I give that to my well, maybe my daughter might know. She's what 14 now, so she probably would
Yeah, she
know.
would.
But I'm her
Um,
father, so this should surprise no one.
This common is not bad. I think it could see some
Yeah.
play. The rare is just like giving you double chance to draw a card. Can you draw 2 cards if both are empty? I'm assuming yes.
Why would
so-
you not be able to?
Yeah, there's potential for the rare to be really good. And although a lot of people hate zeros, a 3 and a 2 on the top are not bad to
That
have for a
says
2
draw.
cost.
That says draw 2. I mean, again, it's a rare, right? So it's a struggle, right? The struggle is real.
Yeah. But yeah, not too terribly exciting, but the art is cool and it could
I wanted
some
this
cool
little girl to be
synergy.
burning down a building. Like, when I saw it was called Little Match Girl, I'm like, oh, that's disappointing. All right. Let's move on to another one of my. This is one of the great things about this game. They come up with cards like Walrus Scout, right? Like, why would you not want Walrus Scout? I mean, I get it.
It's great.
He's not awesome, right? He's really not. But his name is Walrus Scout. He's a 3 from hand, 1 for reserve, 1/1/3. He has no text whatsoever in Axiom. The rare is the same, 3/1, 1/1/2. However, when played from reserve, you may exhaust target card in reserve, which is where you want to play him from anyways. And then the shifted goes to Muna with the rare's ability.
Oh, that's a weird card to see in Muna. You think Muna runs this call just to get some exhausting interaction? I don't like it. You don't have enough stuff throwing cards in reserve.
Yeah, maybe Rin does use this. It's the rare slot is harder for me to think about until I start.
Let's not talk about where he's going to be played. Let's talk about that sweet mustache he has.
I love the art on this.
Card is very cool. Reading it now, though, I'm realizing this is a very good card for Traced.
Yeah, it's very strong.
It's similar to whatever that other card is. Yeah. And yeah, it's got decent stats. If you can fit the rare, it's always nice to have a little bit of form of sabotage.
And he has a sweet mustache.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Do you think that the Walrus Scout is the Bravos, what's his name, turned into a walrus?
Oh, he does look kind of like that guy.
Is there magic like that in this world? I don't know. Like to transform?
Maybe got polymorphed. Yeah, Bravos maybe. Trailblazer turned into a scout. Or
also, I don't know if this is a harpoon on his back or some sort of laser gun.
It looks like sonar.
Oh, that could be too. It could be radio. I'm gonna go with harpoon. It's pretty sweet. All right. What do we got next? I'm trying to go off Dexter's list because Dexter went in order of which they were released, and I'm trying to just scroll down. I believe we went through Fall. I believe Vishvakarma is the next one. I was gonna butcher that if you didn't say it. Just letting you know, I was gonna just absolutely annihilate that name. But 5 from hand, 5 from reserve, 3/3/3. When played from anywhere, the next permanent you play this afternoon costs 4 or less. The rare is a 4/4 for 2/2/2, and the next permanent you play this afternoon costs 3 less. And the rare goes to Ortis. Still, whatever.
I hate it.
Obviously, a card targeted towards Sierra. I feel like, though, or Subash even. I feel that this is the kind of card where I put it in my deck because I really want the interaction to work out. But the chance that it actually works out how I want it to probably doesn't come up enough. And
It's one of those things where you're like, yeah, it definitely does. And then when you play it, you're like, okay, it definitely doesn't.
yeah, because I mean, you'd
I
have
mean,
to have
when it does happen, it's 5 for like 7 stats.
Oh, yeah,
Technically.
it's Christmas land, right? When it does happen, it's fucking sweet, right? Like, it's the
Yeah.
greatest thing ever.
But yeah,
then
it's not
you're like,
happening
oh,
very
man,
often.
this doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to play Vishva and then a Brass Bug Hive, it's pretty decent. But I feel like for that risk, her stats should be 4/4/4 for the mana cost.
Yes, definitely.
4/4/4 for 4? Is that what you're talking, or for
For
5?
5
Yeah, you're
at the
talking about.
common.
All
For
right.
5, yeah.
That's a little less.
You'd
but
never run this rare.
I don't know.
Never say never.
All right. Frozen Delivery. Every time I see this card, I only think of, what was that book? And then it was movies. Hunger Games? Just me? All right, cool.
Yeah.
I am a Hunger Games hater.
Yeah, one from hand, one from reserve. It does have cooldown, resupply. Put the top card of your deck into your reserve. The rare is a 1/1 exhausted resupply. And then again goes to Muna, 1/1 for an exhausted resupply.
Doombringer says this is the greatest card of all time. So you heard it from the audience.
I mean, I do believe we just went over a card that says you're allowed to play cards from you're allowed to play exhausted cards from your reserve.
Yeah.
I mean,
why?
we're at 3 already. It's a little rough, but I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, why would you play the rare? But then I realized it doesn't have cooldown.
It doesn't have cooldown.
Yeah.
I would still like it more common, probably.
Yeah, the common's pretty nice. I also do like it in Muna because there are not many one-cost card options in Muna. So maybe
Run
just
Harvest.
because of that. Harvest?
Mm-hmm.
Harvest? Maybe.
Dexter
but
says
no one
weird
runs Harvest
things.
right now.
Dexter says weird things. Even in Keyforge, and I see that as transferred over. Dexter says weird stuff. All right.
I mean, Harvest is all right, but yeah.
Let's move into the only faction that really matters, Lyra, right? We got the Mag Pen Hoarder, which is a penguin that has stuff. He even has a backpack. How cool is that? 2 from hand, 2 from reserve, 2/2/2. When played from anywhere, if you have 2 or more cards in reserve, it gains 1 boost and fleeting. For the rare, it is again 2/2, 2/2/2. Man, that's a lot of 2s. When played from anywhere, if I have 2 or more cards in reserve, I gain 2 boost and fleeting, and then it goes over to Axiom, which is the same as the rare. Oh my god. Sorry, I just read the flavor text and just immediately thought of my wife. Why does it need all these? Might come in handy someday.
Yeah,
He is a hoarder.
that's kind of me. How did we get Magpeng Hoarder though?
Yeah, I thought we already did that one.
Oh, I was like, why do I not see this on Dexter's list?
I'm not sure, but I know we didn't go through it last week. Because trust you me,
Okay.
I know a penguin when I see one. Didn't see one last week.
If I have 2 or more cards in reserve, I gain 2
I'm
boosts,
sorry. You
fleeting.
are 100% correct, Draconis. He is not the same. He is the common version in Axiom. You are correct.
Oh yeah. If you have 2, so this is kind of more Fen, right? There's no zeros. I don't
The
really
rare
see
definitely
why...
goes into Fen. Or I guess maybe Nevenka.
Yeah, I mean 2 mana for a 2/2/2 is not very risky, and then the chance of getting boosts. I don't know off the top of my head how much remove fleeting tech that Lyra has, so
This
it
would
is
have to
kind of
go
risky
down
in that regard.
first. Like 100% has to go down first in an Evenka deck. Not so much in Fen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still cool. It's still a penguin that has stuff and things.
It is very cool art. Dexter doesn't have too many opinions until we get to Ordis.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, fine.
I honestly don't like this card at all, but whatever.
I mean, it's fine.
The
Again,
next one, though.
it's always the cool cards that don't get played, right? Like, it's always the sweet cards that don't get played. Always. Will-o'-the-Wisps, a 3/2 with 0/0/3. If your expedition facing me is in water, it can only move forward due to water. The rare is a 3/3 0/0/4. Same thing if the expedition is facing me in water. I'm sorry, if the expedition facing me is in water, it can only move forward due to water.
Yep.
The faction shifted to Muna is a little different. 3/2 3/0/0. If the expedition facing me is in forest, it can only move due to forest.
And then they all have supportability.
Oh yeah,
The next
sorry,
card
they
you
all have
play
the
this turn costs
supportability.
one
The
less.
next card you play costs one less.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this. All three, honestly, are solid.
Yep. I played
You
this
put the
in
winter
my...
coats.
Ooh, winter coats? Yeah, that's a good point, too. I did not pull a winter coat in my sealed event, but I played Will-o'-the-Wisp in sealed. This card is amazing. One, because it's more Auroch support. Two, because it's Rin support in Muna. And three, it blocks small step.
Does do that.
Yeah. So I dig it. It's a little bit of some good counterplay while also getting performance counters. Yeehaw.
Lord
I'm gonna
knows
build
I
an
will
Auroch
all
deck.
need those performance counters. All right, Nice.
Yeah.
I know Auroch likes performance counters. I get it. I just don't see it becoming. What's the word I'm
Auroch
looking for? Viable in
Auroch
any
is
way.
fine.
There you go. Yeah, I just don't see Auroch becoming a thing. You got my hopes up, Cole.
We'll see.
right.
I believe.
You believe?
But we're on the Magic Slay.
I believe we're on Nice, which is not on the list.
Nice.
Again, I know a gnome when I see one, and I didn't see one last time we talked. He is a 3 from
Dexter
hand.
let us down.
He let us down. 3 from hand, 3 from reserve, 3/03. When played from hand, roll a die on a 4+ resupply on a 1-3. Exhausted resupply. For the rare, 3/2, 3/03. Played from hand, roll a die on a 4+ resupply on a 1-3 exhausted resupply. That's weird how the...
I don't know.
I'm sorry. And then it's the same. I believe this is the same thing. I'm trying to fit. What's the difference beside? I mean, they just took 2 off the reserve.
It costs one less.
Yeah, it costs 1 less. The faction shifted
So
is an
the
axiom,
Axiom.
but it's the common version. I guess what I just boost. Like, when do I ever really honestly play this from reserve?
Never.
I was gonna
It's
say
not
never,
good for
right?
reserve.
Like, it doesn't do anything.
Yep, this is another one I played in my sealed deck, and it's a lot of fun. It's a performance counter, and considering cards that have zeros, it has stats in decent places and decent stats. So, Axiom, probably a skip.
I don't
because
think
of
this
the
finds a
rare
place
slot.
in any Lyra deck. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's Auroch. It's Auroch.
Yeah, but I think there's still things better.
Maybe we'll see. I haven't put one together with the full set yet, but he was just fun in sealed. So
I could definitely see it being fun and sealed. Like a sealed, maybe could be a sealed all-star. Right, but I don't know. In constructed, I don't know. I don't know. The Magic Slay. 4 from hand, 4 from reserve. It's an expedition permanent. If my expedition would move forward during dusk, it moves twice instead. The rare is 3/3. It has fleeting if it's played from hand. Again, if if my expedition would move forward during dusk, it moves twice instead.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think this card might be a problem in the Bravo sector. Does the same thing as the rare, moving twice.
Yeah, do the cards that remove fleeting specify it has to be a character? That's a question I haven't thought of until just now.
I would have to go back and look at the cards that remove fleeting.
Yeah, I will look while I also tell you that this card is fucking amazing.
This card's
and
busted.
It's gonna be so much fun, and
This
so
is probably
many people.
this one might. Man, it's definitely. I think it's gonna be a 3 of. No, definitely.
I usually more often do 2 when it comes to landmarks, unless it's an incredibly important landmark. With gear, though,
this isn't a landmark. This is an expedition permanent.
Yeah, I will say I think I just run the common, but it is a ton of fun, and you can do it super sneaky.
Yeah.
I won my first match at pre-release with it. I just put it down, and I was against someone who was going to move once as well to meet their hero to their companion, but since I put down the sleigh and I moved one beyond, I won instead of having to go to arena.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
I like
fun.
this card a lot. I actually think this card somebody's gonna break this card. 100%. This card will get broken somehow, some way.
Yeah. So, for an example, Bravos Vanguard does say another target character lose fleeting. So the Bravos one is kind of unfortunate that it gains fleeting, but for 3 cost and what this does,
still I think might be worth it.
Yeah, it does. It might be indeed. Because the other thing is the gear doesn't go anywhere until it makes your
you move
forward.
Right.
Yeah, so if it has fleeting, that just means you can't play it twice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's why I was thinking
fun.
like 3 of might be the way, but maybe not. We'll see. Wow, this card's busted. Well, sorry, I just looked at the stats. I don't know what it does. The Machine on the Ice from Axiom. 1 from hand, 3 from reserve, 5/3/5. When I go to reserve from anywhere, exhaust me. Oh. When played from hand, send it to reserve.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the sad part.
I was like, wow, this thing's nuts. So I just want to play this from reserve, but even still, does Axiom have ways? Don't they have? No, I was gonna say, don't they have ways to mess with reserve from hand?
So there's a card that will expand your reserve if you have an exhausted card.
But there's no way to take a card from hand and put it in my reserve?
With a card...
In Axiom?
I don't think a card interaction from what I remember, because Sleight of Hand is in Ysmir and Lyra, I think. But where this card could be really good is comboed with that card that lets you play exhausted cards, or there's, like I said, I forgot which one it is. It's one of the permanents, isn't it? Yeah, the Kelonic Heater. You may play exhausted cards from your reserve in my
I was trying to get around paying that extra 1. Trying to get around paying the 1.
So I mean, as long as it doesn't get sabotaged, it's a good card and it's cool. So
we didn't go through the other ones. The rare is 1 from hand, 2 from reserve, 4/4. It's the exact same thing. And then it goes into Muna, and it's the common version.
This can get anchored so easily. Ooh, this might be very good in Muna.
Does Muna have a way to mess with the putting cards in here? I know Lyra, I can put, there's certain cards that allow me to put cards in my hand in reserve and then take cards from my reserve and put them into my hand. They don't have that ability in Muna or Axiom?
Axiom pointed out by Sayonara, bruh, in the audience. Thank you. Ada Lovelace is when you play Ada Lovelace from reserve, you may put a card from your hand in reserve, and then it says if it's a permanent, draw a card. So Ada Lovelace, and then Traced just kind of himself deals with, moving things between hand and reserve and out into Expedition. Muna, in the new set, do they have one of the cards that does that?
I don't think so. Not in the new set.
I can't think of any.
Yeah, it's just good in Muna because it's good stats and you can anchor it.
It's fantastic stats for stat to cost ratio. Like,
yeah,
holy crap, that's balling. But yeah, I was just wondering. I didn't know if there was a way to kind of like mess with things again.
Oh, I guess there's Repotter Otter.
Each card.
Each player may put a card from their hand in reserve. So there's that, but you also do give your opponent the option to do it. Yeah.
But man, at a 5/3/5 though, might be worth it. I don't know.
I like it better than the other robot card that makes you sacrifice something. The flawed prototype.
I don't like that one at all.
We're gonna have to wait for Doombringer to see if flawed prototype is played, but for me it's a hard justification for what it is.
Now it makes me want to break it. Okay, anyways, Armorok. Didn't we go through this card last time? Was there something not revealed about Armorok?
One of the cards wasn't.
Yeah.
One of the cards wasn't revealed?
I think it was the Ysmir version.
Oh, was that
Which it's just the same as the common. We can skip that.
Perfect. Into Ortis. The faction we all love to hate. As I scroll a lot. All right. So we already went through Hound because I jumped the gun. My bad. Let's go into the Ortis Overseer. 2/2. Another bureaucrat. Jiminy Crickets.
I love this. This guy is so good.
1/1/2. If my expedition is behind, create an Ortis Recruit 1/1/1 soldier token in my expedition. On the quick effect, it can create a 1/1/1 Ortis Recruit token in target expedition.
And you're using that quick effect a lot.
Of course you are. Why wouldn't you be? Rare version is a 2/2 1/1/2. When played from hand, it does creates that Ortis Recruit. I'm sorry, it creates an Ortis Recruit in my expedition for each bureaucrat. You fucking Christ.
Yeah, I do not run the rare. Like, it's gonna make like
you play Waru and you don't run.
You don't run the rare.
No.
Why didn't they just call this card Waru Overseer? Like, how does this not slide in your deck somehow? This should slide right in your
DMs. I need all my
DMs.
cards to be able to be played early on. And if I'm wasting a rare slot in this and then only getting one token from it, it's not worth the rare slot.
I think you're doing it wrong if you're only getting one token from this.
You have to at least get two.
I can't spend the rare slot on it.
Doesn't it count itself?
It does.
So your bare minimum
But I'm
getting
normally-
two. No, is my math?
Is
my
that
math
the
not math in here?
Getting one more token is not worth the rare.
I will say that this is a 3 of 3 or a 3 already right away for my dual ring deck.
Yes.
Common is very good for
The common is
Goalring.
phenomenal.
And I've already played Ortis Overseer, and she's great.
Yep.
It does get faction shifted into Muna, which is the same as the common. Or, I'm sorry, Muna into Ysmir, and it is the common.
All right, I had to comment on the Ortis Overseer because I do like it, but I'll leave this next one to Dexter, and I'm gonna go get some feet for my cold toesies. But I
Ooh,
meant socks.
it's like 40
I
in
meant
Texas.
socks.
It's cold. It was 4 degrees today in Wisconsin. Anyways, the Ortis Night Warden.
Mhm.
2 from hand, 2 from reserve, 2/2/2. When I gain a sleep, I gain a boost. The rare version is a 3/3 2/2/2. If I would gain a sleep, I gain anchored instead.
Mhm.
And then this goes into Lyra, and it is the rare version.
Yeah, so I definitely run this at common in Waru, just because, like I said, I want to have a low curve and just play as many guys as I can.
You don't play
But
the
the rare is
Overseer
very
common?
good.
Do you play the Overseer at common? I have to imagine you
I play
do,
the
yes?
Overseer at common.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
And then at Lyra, it seems pretty good too. If you Sandman that guy, give him boosts, and then he gets anchored, that could be pretty strong.
Yep, this is a cool card. I, although do not play it in Goalring, I
Weird. It's
don't-
also another bureaucrat, Dexter. For
It is.
Ortis
Yeah, that's why
for
I
your
run 3 of them
Ortis-
in Waru.
So your
Yep.
Ortis Overseer could create another recruit.
Really, the only change I've made so far for my Waru in Trial by Frost is add 3 Overseers and 3 Night Wardens at
Okay.
common.
You haven't added any new Trial by Frost rares yet?
I don't have any. I haven't opened any yet.
Did you have you gotten a whole box or just done the faction break so far?
I did the whole box with
Okay.
Ortis.
Wait, we did a faction break in a Trial by Frost?
This bastard
me-
went and did it
Me,
in person
Ogre,
without
and
us.
Aaron did it at Aegis. So I got Ortis.
Oh, you
and,
did it live in person instead of together.
Yeah, it was in person. So I got
Oh.
Ortis and Axiom, and
I was like, man, I
2
would have
other
been in
people
on.
got 2 factions each.
I would have been in on that.
Yeah, so the reports I'm hearing so far is one box should get you just
All the
about
commons.
all of the commons, but the rares are still going to be what we're searching for.
Yep.
And
You're gonna
this
need to open
next
a lot
one,
to get all the rares.
yeah, this next one is one I really need.
Sunisa,
the rares.
dedicated ensign. I don't know how she's.
Mhm.
I don't know how it's an ensign, but okay. 3/3/4/4/4 with defender. If my expedition is behind, defender characters don't prevent it from moving forward. The rare is a 3/3 with 3/3/3, also with defender. If my expedition is behind, same thing, doesn't prevent it from moving forward. When played from hand, create an Ortis recruit, 1/1/1 soldier token in target expedition. It does get faction shifted into Ysmir. It is the common version.
Mm-hmm. Why do you need the rare here? I like the common just fine in Goalring.
Yeah, I was thinking about that after I said that. I think I actually don't have 3 of the common yet, and I really want 3 because this card is just amazing. No, I do have 3.
I was about to send them to you.
So we gotta
Do you
talk
have
about,
three?
we gotta talk about this card
you-
because still confuses me.
Oh,
Maybe you'll explain it. We were
If you-
talking about
yeah.
this.
if you think about it, in Goalring, this is a 3 mana, and it is a 5/5/5 instead of a 4/4/4. And it's also in target expedition, so you can pick where the recruit
Yes,
goes.
that is true.
And it's a from
And
anywhere
if
ability.
if it's behind, defenders don't prevent it. So it is very strong. I like the common a lot. The rare could work in some Goalring builds, but rare slots are always limited.
Yeah,
I don't see you running this in Ysmir.
Yeah, I don't see why you would. I don't know off the top of my head if there's enough. I mean, the moths, I guess, if you go a moth or chrysalis.
Yeah, moths. The Chrysalis has.
Yeah.
It,
So maybe you have a good Chrysalis unique. Maybe you have a Moth and Chrysalis build. Then maybe you play it in Ysmir. But for Wookiee, so Defender, if you just read it there, my expedition can't advance during dusk. So the way that I always see it is these people are like standing in the way.
No,
of
that
the
makes more
opponent.
sense. The whole thing. Okay, so when I read mobile artillery, I read it all as one, right? When it says defend. Okay, so we might as well go through mobile artillery. It's a 1/1. It is an expedition permanent. It creates a soldier token in the expedition. The rare is still 1/1. Still creates a soldier token. Defender. And then I kind of added this into it, thinking it was all just one. It says characters don't prevent my expedition. Defender characters don't prevent my. I thought that, and it just, for whatever reason, I'm thinking it's Defender. And I'm like, well, what? You know what I mean? And I now that it's like separate, read it aloud, clearly. It makes sense. Defender characters don't prevent my expedition from moving forward. Gets faction shifted into Ysmir. Never mind. I understand it now that I've read it for the 17th time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think mobile armory is fine. You run it in Gorang, probably.
Yep. The rare is obviously pretty good in Gorang. The common is not bad at all in Gorang if you don't have enough rares. It's just a good card. Once again, if you're going for that Ysmir build we were just talking about, I think this card is way easier of an inclusion than the Sunisa, because it is going to give you the recruit, which with Lindaway, maybe you sacrifice the recruit. And then also if you have Chrysalis and other things, it's going to allow those to move forward.
Yep. And then I think the common you could also run at Siggy. That might be some things. Just another one drop that makes a token.
Yeah, Ortis Bastion Siggies as well for sure. And we've already seen some uniques have permanent requirements, so that might be where these come in handy more often.
That's just an easy permanent to throw down.
Yep.
All right. Let's go through a card that confuses me. So much odd lore in this game, right? You have deity characters from all over.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Ebenezer Scrooge. He's just a character from a book. But why can't he be in this game?
This is where we need Ogre, because Ogre knows the lore a little better than me.
Of Ebenezer Scrooge or the lore of Altered?
The lore of Altered.
Okay.
The way that I explain it, the easy way, is basically there was a occurrence that smashed, worlds together, and that's why there's like all these myths and legends and gods and everything in the world.
And book characters.
And yes.
Why not?
And what I always tell people is, because of this, nothing is off limits besides, things that are obviously copywritten. There's a Winnie the Pooh card. It exists. It's been made. It's called Winnie the Cook. It cannot be released because it is actually not public IP in the UK.
Oh. Weird.
Yes. How do you know about this?
I pay too much attention.
Because Cole knows stuff. It doesn't mean he's going to let us know all the stuff. He just knows things.
Winnie the Cook is something that anyone can know, and the picture is there, and it's been posted on the Discord a couple times.
The faster you come to this realization, Dexter, that Cole is just going to drop like a little bit of knowledge on you, and like he knows things about what's going on with Altered that he won't share. The faster you're okay with it, the faster we can all move forward. I've come to grips with it like 6 episodes ago.
Cole just knows things.
But he is a 3/3 for 3/3/3. Doesn't have any sort of text on the common, but he does have a quick action. Target characters you control with hand cost 4 or less gain a sleep. The rare is a 3/3 for 3/3. Cards played from reserve cost 1 more. I suppose that's symmetrical. Same
Symmetrical.
same action, same quick action. Weird, he goes into Muna for some reason.
He does go very different in Mona, though.
Yep. Cards played from reserve cost 1 less with a minimum cost of 1. Same quick action.
That's
Darkness
weird
is
that they didn't give
cheap,
him
and that's
the
why
anchor trigger
Scrooge
from
like
the quick
it.
action.
Not
it is
anchored. It says asleep, not anchored.
Yeah.
Oh, you
It
mean
is
that they didn't give him anchored?
Yeah.
It is very interesting, but now that I'm kind of putting things together more, Ebenezer might be great with Yeti. And the thing about Muna that a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around is because of the lore and the vibe of the faction, they do provide benefits to both sides pretty frequently. Whereas Ordis is your bureaucracy. Ebenezer Scrooge is going to be sending ice to your door and not going to treat people very fairly. But in Muna, everyone's welcome. That's
It's like after the book was over, that's what he becomes.
It's like it follows the story.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, he doesn't really do much in the beginning. And then he just becomes an evil villain. But at the end, right? He's like, oh, hey.
Yeah. I like this.
I've seen the
This
light.
is solid lore.
Bring me your biggest goose. I think that's from the Muppets Christmas Carol. But
yeah, so we have to just put all of our feet down right now and say this is not comparable to Robin Hood.
Yeah, I kind of started making that comparison. I'm like, oh, he's fucking Robin Hood. God, this is terrible. But it's not because it's symmetrical, so it does hurt both parties equally.
Yes, and it's from reserve, and they just cost 1 more. And so a lot of people had a pretty big knee-jerk reaction to this, but I feel like it's just because they have PTSD from Robin Hood. Because even if this ability and text gets put on uniques, there's no way it's going to be as bad as Robin Hood. And
it's double-sided.
Yeah, the other thing that people need to understand, and I feel like 6 out of 10 people don't.
6 out of 10. It's a very that's a very
3 out of 5.
That's a very confident number there too, by the way.
Yep. They don't understand that for a new expansion or a card product to get printed and to get put out and to get shipped and distributed, they're doing their forecasting and decisions 6 to 8 months before you actually have the cards in your hand. So this obviously existed a while ago, and it's not just like, oh, now we should just change Scrooge because we eroded Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's the same. I started to automatically make it, but I'm like, but it's symmetrical, so it's fine. Let's move to Dong Dashen. 4 from hand, 4 from reserve, 3/4/4. When played from anywhere, you may exhaust target card in reserve. The rare is a 3/3 for 3/3/3. I've said that a lot today. At noon, you may exhaust target card in reserve. And then it gets faction shifted into Muna, which is the same as the rare.
Yep. This is very strong and limited. I do not think it sees play in any constructed decks.
I was just reading the rare along with you guys, and the rare's fucking scary in Waru.
No, it's just a worse version of Leggett.
Leggett doesn't... okay, I see what you're saying. But is Leggett a bureaucrat too? Yeah,
Yes.
of course. Of course. Yeah. At noon is kind of hard to justify, but this text line is scarier to me than Scrooge's.
Sure.
But you are right. Legate is probably better because it does happen after rest.
And it's cheaper.
But the dong is here.
The dog.
So-
I was waiting. I was waiting for something. I was just sitting quietly. I'm like, who's gonna say it? Somebody will.
Yep. Dong da dong dong dong.
All right. Let's go from Dong to Digimon. Veilomon. Dexter, do you know what Digimon are?
I do. I've never played it.
Okay. I feel like half of the show is just me and Cole making fun of you for being young.
Yep.
Okay,
That's
fair
a big
enough.
part of it.
Four from hand, 4 from reserve. 666. Uh-oh. Unless you have 8 or more mana orbs, I am a defender. The rare version is 44555. Unless you have 8 or more mana orbs, I gain defend. I am a defender. If you have 10 or more mana, whoa, wow, why can't I talk? If you have 10, let me use my finger, or more mana orbs, I am gigantic. And then he moves into Bravos with the rare version.
Yep. This with Geyser in Ghoul we could see some shenanigans.
Yep.
10 is a lot, but I like it.
I don't have the rares yet. I think the
You want one?
rare is risky, but the
Yeah.
common is fucking great. And if you have any
Yeah,
of that,
solid
remove the
stats.
defender stuff.
I was going to say,
Hail Satan.
there's a little bit of that. And by a
Yep.
little, I mean quite a lot. That is 2 cards now, right? Mobile Artillery moves Defender and doesn't
And then-
Sunisa?
Sunisa, yep. And those are the only 2 I think there are, but that's 2 is a good amount.
That's 6 cards, bare minimum.
Yeah.
Plus uniques.
I was going to say plus
Mhm.
uniques.
Yep. No, Veilmon's dope. Definitely playing Veilmon. And I wonder what the lore of Veilmon
Well, he's a Digimon.
is.
Man, I wish I remembered the theme song to
Ooh.
Digimon.
Okay, so it's the White Bear King Veilmon. It's a Norwegian fairy tale.
Oh.
Dope.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then there's boring stuff like the Ortis Liaison. Who's a 4 from hand, 4 from reserve, 2/2/2. You guys like that transition? I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's
When
good.
played from hand, each other character you control gains 1 boost. The rare is a 4/4 3/3/3. Each character in target expedition gains 1 boost. And then the Muna shifted one is the same as the common.
This is interesting. I think the common could see play. It's basically a charge plus 2 mana with the body there. I don't think the rares see play though.
Yeah, I don't
Other
think
character
I
you
put
control.
this.
I don't know. It just seems pricey.
Yeah, it costs a lot.
Seems a little pricey. I think the charge might be better. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, charge is better. Charge does have
Charges.
fleeting. Keep that in
That
mind.
is true.
Yeah,
So
but
you
I
would
mean,
get 2 uses out of this.
one
Unless they
open the
sabotaged.
gates and one charge and fucking ruin everyone's day.
Who runs open the gates these days?
I've hit it 3 times in the past couple days.
I've never seen it played against me within the last 2 months.
Get ready for it. It's coming.
Man, I cannot wait for live in-person actual play because it sounds like it's just going to be a hot mess. Or is that
What
just
do you
me?
mean?
Man, it just for listening to you guys, because you guys play a lot online. Again, I
Yeah.
really don't enjoy online playing.
Mhm.
But you're like, I don't see this at all. And then Cole's like, I see it a lot. And it's like, I can't wait till a real
In
meta,
person, it's just gonna be a whole bunch of
in-person meta
crazy
is
stuff.
designed.
Yeah.
because you're going to hear a lot of people be like, I never saw this on BGA. And then you're going to have a bunch of people who play things because it's like, that's all I saw on BGA. And then I played in person and didn't see it one time.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like the meta is still so undefined for this game because there haven't been any like real like large events for people to see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
that's
it's also no, you're correct because
There's just also a lot of possibilities that
right.
all seem somewhat viable.
Yeah. Well, when I was judging at PAX, I was even surprised by some of the stuff I saw, and some of the players there don't play online. Like one of the traced players that won one of the tournaments and then came in like top 3 for 2 others. He played his first BGA like game a week ago. So yeah, it's very interesting the different ways people play in person versus on BGA. This is kind of not at all related to these cards, but I think a lot of people who play online have a really harsh reckoning coming when they realize they can't fucking take half an hour to play the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I play fast on BGA if I'm paying attention.
Judge calls.
Okay, so Americans actually do play very fast 9 out of 10 times. The other countries use
they do tend
all
to
of
be
their
very
all
slow.
of their clock and more, so they better get used to playing quick.
I can't take another chess clock discussion. I've done this in so many other games. I can't. So
Yep,
instead
I
of doing
will
that,
always support chess clocks.
oh, Dexter, you are a cancer. Let's instead of doing all that, let's move into Benzenton. Is that right? That seems wrong.
Benziton?
Benziton? Huh.
There's an I there.
A lot of 6s on this card. 6 from hand.
They got a lot of arms.
6 from
That might be why they have 6s.
You think maybe they have 6 arms?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yep. That's
6 from hand, 6 from reserve for 6, 6, 6. Uh-oh. If my expedition is behind, draw a card. The rare is still all the 6s. And if my expedition is behind, draw a card. Otherwise, resupply. And then it gets shifted into Bravos, and it is the common version.
Am I the one that has to chime in for every card that's a Ghoul Ring card, Dexter?
no,
I don't think
this is a Japanese goddess of music, knowledge, and eloquence.
Is this going to see play being that high?
No, it costs way too much.
I was going to
really
say absolutely
like
not, but
I really like it, but it is a tough decision. The fact that Ghoul has a little bit of ramp now and wants to get up to 8 mana anyways, maybe, but this is probably one of the first cards I cut, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is not good. How would you feel playing this? You get 1 card draw off of it, and then it just gets teamwork training, lost in the woods, cloth cocooned. Like, no, it's not good.
Well, I mean, I was running Grand Endeavor before Trial by Frost, so
Grand Endeavor at least has tough.
I know the only tough.
I was going to say the only thing is like when you get into those expensive cards, and we kind of had a little bit of a discussion about it a week ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, where you were talking about like maybe the meta shifts into more expensive cards. And I think Dexter just listed all the reasons why it won't be going that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's harder to remove higher mana cards than it is lower mana.
Sometimes no. I don't know. Should we go to rally call? Rallying call?
Yep.
All right. 1/1. Target character gains 1 boost. If it is asleep, it loses a sleep. The rare is a 2/2. Target character gains 1 boost. If it's asleep, it gains anchored and it loses a sleep. And the faction shift goes to Lyra with the rare version.
No body, not worth it. Next.
True.
All right.
This is a good card.
Thanks, Big Z.
This is a very good spell.
I do not like it.
Wookie needs to move his phone away from his equipment, but
My phone is not near my equipment. Actually, speaking of, I don't know where the fuck my phone is. Jesus.
At least the recording
Yeah,
is not,
you're cutting out for us.
robot.
Am I?
So-
my bad.
Okay. I won't sell you on the rare because you've already, been spoiled for choice on rares for Waru. But
Uh-huh.
this is a card for just 1 mana that you can play on one of your bureaucrats that you maybe don't want to be asleep anymore or something, and it gets 1 boost.
Do you know how many times I have ever thought, I want to not have a bureaucrat asleep right now? Never. I always want my bureaucrat to be asleep. If I don't want it to be asleep, I just won't put it to sleep.
Yeah, probably. If this was in Ysmir faction shifted, though, could be very cool for Aphanis.
I'm thinking of going back to my old.
I like the art though. That looks like the big Ghoul-Rank golem with the horn.
Yeah,
It
Right?
is. It's Toxin. Yeah.
I'm thinking of going back to my old audio interface because you guys see, I always seem to have problems. Never had problems
We
with
hear
the
you.
2i. You hear me? What?
I was gonna say we
You're
hear
good
you,
now.
and you stopped immediately.
Yeah, no. I never had problems with the 2i2 or anything, but yeah, this for whatever reason, this Sterling's just. It's got the yips. All right, field reinforcement. 2 from hand, 2 from reserve.
Wait,
Fleeting.
You skipped hypothermia.
Oh, I did skip hypothermia. My bad. Let's go through field reinforcements since I'm halfway through it already. Choose one. If each of your expeditions is behind or tied, you may choose both. Draw a card. Create an Ortis, recruit 1/1 soldier token and target expedition. The rare is 2/2. It does have cooldown. Choose one. If each of your expedition is behind or tied, you may choose both. And then this gets faction shifted into Ysmir. Why do I like this card so much?
This is the best first turn card for any Ortis character. Except maybe Waru if you don't have a 1-drop bureaucrat as well. This is so strong. Drawing a card and making a token for 2 mana?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep. I don't play the rare. I play the common, and it's amazing in Ghoul-Rank.
Why can I see Ysmir using this too, though? I don't know. Maybe
It's
it
a
doesn't have.
spell.
It might
I
not
don't
have
know.
the. Might not have the rare spot.
It is a spell.
It might not have the rare spot.
Yeah, and the rare there still has fleeting. I don't like it in Ysmir.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go back to the card that Dexter so eloquently told me I forgot, which is hypothermia. It is a 1 from hand, 3 from reserve. Each player chooses a character they control. It gains a sleep. For the rare, it's 1 from hand, 2 from reserve. Each player chooses a character they control. It gains a sleep. And then it gets faction shifted into Lyra. I love you too, baby.
Aw, thank you. It's kind of awkward, but
My daughter just came and gave me a big hug. She's like, I love you. I'm going to bed.
How sweet. Dexter, you're up.
So this is the same as Rallying Call. No body. I don't like it.
Boo.
All right,
Boo
Cole,
this
tell us why
man.
this is actually really a good card.
I'm
here for it.
It is, if you're playing Waru, you are playing around the fact that you are putting your characters to sleep. Maybe you have a unique or something that is not a bureaucrat that you want to keep around because it has some kind of Ortis text on it. And you're making your opponent put something to sleep. The only thing I don't like about this card is the common costs too much from reserve. But I am very used to ditching a card from reserve that costs 3 when it costs 1 from hand, because I play Beauty Sleep all the time.
This has been another moment of Why Dexter Sucks, brought to you by Carl's Jr. All right. Tiny Jail. 2 from hand, 2 from reserve, fleeting. Sent to reserve, target character with no statistics over 3. 2 from hand, 2 from reserve for the rare version. It has a cooldown. Sent to reserve, target character with no statistics over 3. And then it goes over to Bravos for the
This is
common
interesting.
version. It is quite
I
interesting.
really like it in why can't words limited. I played it in 2 of my decks. Actually, all 3 of my decks had at least one tiny jail in it, and that did a lot of work in limited. I think in constructed though, just because it has fleeting and it's 99% of the time just a weaker version of teamwork training. I don't know. I started out running 3, the same as hypothermia, but after playing some games with it on Waru, I've dropped it down to 1 of for Tiny Jail. I think Gulrang could maybe play it.
Yeah,
But Siggy is probably fine removal wise.
Yeah, I think your assessment was really good. And that is the thing, is some cards are actually built more for other formats than constructed. And I agree. Tiny Jail feels really good in sealed. I got hit with it in sealed. It worked really well against me. And I just got to say, free my mans. He didn't do anything wrong. And the design of this card is amazing, right down to the flavor text.
Yep.
Which is the flavor text is, do not collect 200 florets.
Yeah.
It's a Monopoly reference. All right. Icebound Lake. 3 from hand, 3 from reserve. When a non-token creature joins one of your expeditions, if it is behind, I gain a trial counter. Get so many of those bad boys. And by so many, I mean 3.
Yep, 3.
You can create a dragon. A 5/5/5 dragon. Then target character gains a sleep. The rare is 2/2. Does the same thing.
Things.
Ysmir has a version of the Icebound Lake.
It's just the
rare version? Yes, it is the rare version.
This one is too hard to play. Having to cost 3 just isn't worth it. The Bravos one is great. The Lyra one is great. The Muna one is great. This one is too hard to trigger, and the sleep effect is nowhere near as good as giving everything boost or giving your dude anchored.
This card fucks. That's all I'm saying. This card is dope. This card is fun, and it will catch your opponent by surprise. It's super easy to pull off. The only thing that I will give Dexter is the fact that the rare is way easier to play, but it does take up a rare slot.
Oh, that was great.
I think this is great in Siggy and Gulrang. I'm just, when I say the things I say, I talk about it purely from a Waru perspective.
But you gotta think about it from everyone.
It is probably good in both Gulrang and Siggy. Not all Siggies will run it, but it is solid.
Oh man, that was great. Oh shit. All right, so we are moving into Ysmir now. Finally, Ysmir. And we're going to start off with the Moth Larva. 1 from hand, 1 from reserve. When you play it from your hand, if there are 2 or more exhausted cards in reserve, it gains a boost. The rare is the same thing, except it has a quick action of exhaust target card in reserve. And then
it's not the same.
It's not if there are 2 or more exhausted.
When you play it from anywhere instead of just
it is. I'm
hand.
sorry. It is getting late. It is past the Wookiee's bedtime on a Sunday. But it is when played from anywhere. My apologies. And then you can, and then Axiom gets the same thing as the rare.
The rare version. Yep.
Yes. No. Okay. Moving into Chrysalis.
Yep.
Nobody else wants to say anything.
I mean,
That's cool.
there's not much to talk about on that one. It's a fine card.
I talk too much. I don't want to monopolize the mic over here.
All right. Fair enough.
I
Chrysalis.
was also maybe reading some drama, so some spicy drama.
Too much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double G. Anyways, Chrysalis, 2 from hand, 2 from reserve, 2/1/2. It has Defender. When I leave the Expedition Zone, create a Mana Moth 2/2/2 illusion token in my expedition. The rare, I believe, is the same thing. Let me read it here again. Yep, Defender. Yep, when it leaves the expedition, creates a moth. Checks out. And then it has a quick action of exhaust target card in reserve.
Yep.
Then it gets shifted into Ortis, which is the rare version.
Mm-hmm. I like all 3 of these versions.
More defenders for Ortis, huh?
Yep.
Well, actually, you know what?
Chrysalis is solid in Goreng. Not in Siggy or Waru at all.
Mobile Armory did get shifted into Ysmir.
Yeah.
And so did Sinisa.
Yeah, we got some Ysmir stuff dealing with Defender and taking away Defender. I like this rare Chrysalis.
Hold on, hot take. Is Ysmir the new Ortis?
No.
I feel like there should be like an E Inside Edition.
They are not.
We'll start making a lot of tokens.
Thematically, Ysmir will never be as bad as Ortis. So,
they all, now you say it, Wookie. There are some similarities in the set for sure.
I'm just saying, like,
Ysmir is making a lot of tokens now.
There's a lot of crossover happening here. You know what I'm saying?
Both Ysmir and Ortis are doing a lot of exhausting and a lot of making tokens.
A lot of making tokens. Oh,
yes.
No.
So, my thought on this in Goreng specifically, I think it's actually not good for Goreng, because if I am understanding this correctly, and let's actually see if there's probably not this clarification on the Chrysalis card, but reading Goreng's hero ability, she gives boosts to. I'll read it so that we have it here.
Okay.
And you'll see where I'm coming from. When you create a token character, it gains 1 boost.
Yeah, so the moth will get a boost.
However, Chrysalis is a Mana Moth illusion token. Is that distinction important to where it does not get a boost from Goreng?
Wait, what?
Oh, it still makes a token character.
It's an illusion token, though.
Look at this. Ortis Overseer. If my expedition is behind, create an Ortis Recruit 1/1/1 soldier token. The other one is just illusion token. They're both tokens. It doesn't say token, the soldier token character on any of those.
Yeah, I don't think that matters. I think it's just a clarification of what it is. I don't see why it wouldn't get the boost.
Yeah. So if it does get the boost,
are you just causing shit? Is that what you're doing over there? Oh,
no. I'm just thinking through it because
you thought about it too much, Cole. It gets a boost.
Well, no, because listen, there have been things that have shown up in Beyond the Gates that the wording was there, even though nothing interacted with it, because it'll come into play later. And I'm still trying to figure out if illusion tokens are that, or it's just entirely flavored.
Well, on the Mana Moth, it on the actual Mana Moth itself, it says token character. It does say illusion afterward, but Ortis, like he said, does say token character soldier.
Okay.
So
does the dragons? Yeah, it does say token character illusion.
Yeah, so they do say that they're token characters, and then kind of does give it. I mean, if at any point, I'm sure at some point, it'll be like all your robots get a boost, when there is that kind of tribal
all your
deal.
Illusions get a boost.
Right, all your illusions will get a boost, or so, you know what I mean? When it becomes, because at some point it'll become pretty tribal. And what am I saying? Yeah. There's going to be tribal cards, right? Like that would be my assumption, because that's the general flow of card games and how they go. They start making tribal stuff, where illusions would be a tribe, animals will be a tribe, mages, obviously bureaucrats already a thing. God save us.
Yep. Yeah, so when you do make the dragon and ghoul ring, it'll get a boost too, Cole. So that does make that landmark even better, probably, most of the time.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm leaning towards the fact that they're just flavor text for tokens currently. But yeah, I am wondering if in the future we see like give all your illusions a boost or something like that.
Something like that, like a tribal thing, like give all your animals a boost.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. Speaking of animals, let's get into Pomola. 2 from hand, 2 from reserve, 0/3/2. Doesn't do anything fun, but it has a quick action. Exhaust target card in a reserve. They all have that. And then the rare version is a 2/2 for 1/3/3. Then it gets faction shifted into Lyra, which I'm just going to be told this is more fuel for Arik. And it's 2/2, and it's the common version through a 0/3/2.
I don't see this as fuel for Arak. It's a rare, and the stats are not great in my opinion. I do like the moose though. The moose art is great.
It's got a 0. That's every time. Every time I bring up the fact that something has a 0, Cole reminds me it's fuel for Arik.
I think this is a good card, probably a common for Akisha if you're trying to do an Akisha. Exhaust all your opponent's shit and Ice Queen them to death. I think that might be viable on top of
we haven't talked about the Ice Queen.
Akisha
no, we did talk about the Ice Queen. Never mind.
Yeah,
Snow Queen we haven't talked about.
I played this in my Arak deck in Sealed. Funny enough, I'm pretty sure I played the Ysmir version because if you don't know, in Sealed you can mix 3 factions, and I don't have my deck behind me. It's downstairs, I think. But I did Lyra, Ysmir, and Axiom for my Sealed deck. So I did have Pomola. She is fun. And yeah, Arak support.
Yep.
It's an angel moose. I love it.
It is an angel moose. Belasanka. 3 from hand, 2 from reserve, 3/3. When played from hand, you may exhaust target card in reserve. The rare is a 3 from hand, 2 from reserve, 3/3. When played from hand, you may exhaust target card in reserve. Then, if there are 2 or more exhausted card in reserve, it gains a boost. And then it gets the rare gets faction shifted into Bravos. I want more Mothman in my sets. Sorry.
Yeah, no matter what this... No, I'm just agreeing. No matter what this freaking card is or does or what, I fucking love it. It is such a cool card. It's like a freaking busty-ass moth just laying it down.
Well, I was always under the assumption that Balasanka was a Mothman type deal.
I mean, Min can be busty too.
Hold on. No, because the Balasanka is a cryptid. Isn't it?
It's just a cool card. I'm just being silly.
But well, now I want to
know.
I like this guy.
Yeah, it's a good card.
I thought it was a Mothman type cryptid.
Belasanka. I also like the name a lot too.
I'll get back to you.
Cold snap they ride like a shivering tide.
I'll get back to you on that one. Let's move into Aurora. Savior of Asgard. 4 from hand, 3 from reserve, 3/3/4. When played from hand, you may discard a spell from your reserve. If you do, it gains 1 boost. The rare is again 4/3, 3/3/3. When played from hand, you can discard a spell from your reserve. If you do, it gains 2 boost. Quick action. The next spell you play this turn costs 1 less, and that gets the rare gets faction shifted into Bravos.
Yeah, I tried this card.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
It's losing too many cards for not enough value.
Yeah, as Doombringer in the audience said, Aurora, savior of no deck, probably.
Yep.
All right, well then there's no need to stick around on this card. Moving on to the Snow Queen. Also known as
Snow
Elsa. Maybe not. It's a fairy.
Wait, I thought Scotty was Elsa.
Scotty might be Elsa too. I'm not convinced that Scotty and the Snow Queen aren't related in some way. But
They look pretty related.
We'll get to that.
Scotty is Scotty.
We'll get to that in another episode. 7 from hand, 7 from reserve, 3/3/3. It is eternal. For those of you like me who don't know, during rest, it does not go to reserve. Exhausted characters in reserve remain exhausted during morning. That could be a little bit of a lockdown, huh? The rare is 7/7 again, 3/3/3. Again, it has eternal. Tough X, where X is the number of exhausted cards in reserve. When played from hand, you may exhaust target card in reserve. And then it has the same exhausted characters in reserve remain exhausted during morning. Ortis, because why wouldn't Ortis get something that's lockdowny, but it's the same thing as... Yep, thanks, Dexter. Got it. It's the same thing. Remember that control build we talked about? Like a few episodes ago?
Yeah.
This is it.
I hope I said Ysmir. I don't know if I said Ysmir, but I hope it said Ysmir.
I told you Ysmir.
Did you?
Yeah, Ysmir's the control faction. Yep. This it's really, I mean
it is pricey.
It's a great card.
But I feel like this
pricey.
But it gets
I feel like this could shut down a game.
Yes.
Like
it did for me in one of my sealed games.
I feel like this, you could be behind and then this gets dropped and then it's like you're watching your opponent play solitaire at that point.
Yep. I actually have a pretty good unique that I pulled. A lot of the time when you have high cost cards, the unique become very dangerous because they can easily be bad. But mine is actually pretty good. The only downside, I was gonna say the only downside is it doesn't have the interactions you guys are explaining. It does. Mine does have tough.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat. The only thing is it doesn't have the exhaust part, which Doombringer put up a good point. Like Nilam to exhaust stuff, Snow Queen play long game and just shut down your opponent's reserves. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I guess I have to explain for the audio listeners the Snow Queen I have. So it's still 7/7, which is really good for a high cost unique. Someone pulled a 10/10 unique in sealed, and it was devastating. But anyways, mine's 7/7. It's a 3/2/3 on stats. It is eternal. It's tough X, where X is the number of exhausted cards in reserve. But from hand, if your expedition is behind, draw 2 cards.
I like the card draw.
Yeah, drawing 2 cards is dope. It's eternal. It's a little hard to remove because it's high cost. I like it for a high cost unique.
Yeah,
I want to break this card. I know I've said that a couple times now, but like, I now want to build that Ysmir build that is just complete shutdown.
I am building the Ysmir being a bad person.
Yeah, like, I want to, like, not... Okay, so a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know. I enjoy building decks where my opponent doesn't get to play the game.
This is that.
This is what Wookiee likes.
You haven't even seen Winter Nova or Freeze or any of the other things. Let's just keep reading all this.
Keep going into Rim Frost, which is 1 from hand, 2 from reserve. Exhaust target card in reserve. The rare is the same, 1/2. Choose one. Discard target exhausted card from reserve. or just do the normal exhaust. That also gets faction shifted into Muna.
I like the common a lot.
I was saying nice and cheap.
Just stack that with the queen. Exhaust all your stuff.
Nice and cheap, just the way you like it. You know, to stall, and then drop the hammer. Can we keep going? Anybody got anything else to say?
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. All right, Moth to a Flame, 3 from hand, 2 from reserve. It's got cooldown. You create a Mana Moth 2/2 Illusion token in target expedition. The rare is a 4/3, also has that same cooldown. Except you create a Mana Moth in each expedition. Man, Ortis and tokens, man, they got a thing. I don't know. I might want to get that fetish checked out. They get the same as the rare.
I don't like the Izmirs, but I think it could be a Ghoul card.
It's a little pricey.
Yeah, I think this one's just a pass for me. The art is amazing. The art is great.
If it was a little cheaper, you put it in?
If it was 2 mana, sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it was like 2, you put it in? Yeah, it just feels a little pricey for what it is. And then Freeze, 4 from hand, 4 from reserve, also has cooldown. Send target character to reserve, then exhaust it. The rare is 3 from hand, 4 from reserve, cooldown. Send target character to reserve, then exhaust it. What is the difference? Just the one cost? Okay,
one cost less,
Yep,
yeah.
it was one cost less. Bravos also gets Freeze.
The common version.
The common
is great. Love it.
I feel like they gave Bravos all these weird ice things just to like have some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not analogy, but some sort of weird, like Bravos, you traditionally think of the fire, right? And then they give them all these cards that are like freezing and that kind of stuff. They've done it in other faction shifted cards too, I've noticed.
Geyser.
Yeah.
Or no, Geyser's originally in Bravos.
Yeah, well, Geyser would make sense in Bravos because Geysers are hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the story of this set is all of the factions are going to basically scale the summit to see what's frozen inside.
I bet it's this giant fire turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great card. Freeze is a great card.
Loving it, the common.
All right.
I don't think the rare C play.
Probably not. Except we're talking about that. I don't know. Talking about that. But I don't know. What I'm gonna say. Blizzard, 5 from hand, 5 from reserve. Fleeting. Send to reserve each character from target expedition, then exhaust them. The rare is a 5/5. Again, fleeting. I cost 1 less if there are 2 or more exhausted cards in reserve. Question about this one, Mr. Cole, since you're our rules expert. So it costs 1 less if there are 2 or more exhausted cards in reserve. Does that count my reserves and my opponent's reserves?
Yep.
Okay. And then, you can send to reserve each character from target expedition, then exhaust them. Oh, but this is both. I just realized this affects both players, huh?
No, it's target expedition. There are 4 different expeditions, so you pick one of the 4.
Yep.
Oh, so I can just choose my opponent's side.
Yes.
It's not symmetrical.
Yep.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's why you can accidentally small step your opponent.
Fair enough.
There's 4 buttons to click on BGA, so if you click one of their 2, it'll advance them instead of you.
Oops.
This one's kind of weird. It's strong, but for 5, and then it's fleeting too.
But this is one of those stall cards. This is what I'm talking about. Stall. Drop your queen.
Yeah, this card I feel can annihilate some Ornis tokens very easily.
But they normally go for both sides. You're only hitting one of them.
Yeah, I guess that makes it costly, but if you compare it to Freeze, what we just talked about, it's only 1 more mana, and if they have it's actually even really scary against Muna, because it does not have a cost associated, so Hydra.
Yeah, it takes out that Hydra, I think.
Yeah, this
Each
card can be
character,
very
you're not
scary.
targeting the character itself.
Yeah.
Well, those
It
stall
can be very
cards.
scary.
I feel like that we'll see something in
Yeah,
some
some
sort
asshole
of
will play it.
Yeah, some dick, that asshole.
I'm going to.
No.
And if I ever match up against you in the wild and you play
In the wild.
that Akesha control deck, you know I'm giving you a thumbs down, right?
That's cool. That's cool. Can you do that in person? I don't know. Like,
I mean, I could punch him in the face.
it's like that order. You guys ever watch the Orville?
No.
So
I've heard of it.
So Orville is it's a show about it's supposed to be like a Star Trek spoof, right? It was created by Seth MacFarlane, but it ended up being like really Star Trekky and like pretty good. And there was one where they visit a planet and everybody wears a badge, and there's like an upvote button and a downvote button, and you can just and you can just press it on them. And then if you get like enough downvotes, like you could be sentenced to death. It's really weird. But it was kind of an interesting episode, you know, kind of just talking about like social media in today's aspects. But
yeah, I've seen a lot of clips from Orville. It sounds like an interesting show.
I highly enjoyed the Orville. But let's go to Flutter of Moths. 6 from hand, 6 from reserve. Boy, these high cost cards in Ysmir.
Yeah.
I cost 1 less if there are 2 or more exhausted cards in reserve. Create a Mana Moth illusion token. Just create 3 of them. I'm sorry. Skipping words. And you can distribute them as you choose among any number of target expeditions. The rare version is 7/7, and it costs 1 less for each exhausted card in reserve. And then it creates those same 3 Mana Moths that you are allowed to disperse. And then Axiom. Thank God this didn't go into Ortis. Oh my goodness. That would have been a nightmare.
This card is just for those assholes once again.
I don't like it.
I don't like this card.
I think
it's not worth the mana.
I think it's basically a open the gates. So if someone can justify doing open the gates, probably the same kind of person that would justify this. The thing about all these high cost spells and everything is they are for like those Akesha type builds, because their point is to drag out the game as long as possible and get up to 22 mana. So they don't care, or they have Catagear and they play all of these we just talked about for free.
Yeah. Love to see it. I'm making an Akesha build.
Yeah, I am too.
I could stop you.
How would you do that?
There are ways to stop people, Dexter.
None of them legal, but there are ways.
Yeah, no. None of them would be legal.
I'm sorry. I just accidentally saw a dog in the street and swerved into your living room.
Oops.
Anyways,
Winter Nova. 8/8. Oof. But again,
do not say oof. This card is brutal.
It better be
very good.
Dude, this card better read I win the game. But
it does. It did win the game for my opponent.
You're gonna choose
20 points worth of stats and it annihilated all of it.
You're gonna choose 3 of these. Exhaust up to 2 cards in reserve. Create 2 Mana Moths. Discard target permanent. I thought that's a discard sacrifice target player. Target player sacrifices the character. I was like, wow, brutal.
Sacrifice target player.
Yeah, sacrifice target player, and you lose. Sorry, bud. All right. And then the rare version is 8/8. Again with the fleeting. Choose 3. You may pick the same option multiple times.
And it's the same options.
That's the same options. Lyra gets... Lyra gets this as well.
Yep. So I had 3 characters on the board, and it was a 6/6/6, and then it was a 5/7/7, and then it was a 7/7/7 with Anchored. They played the Winter Nova and said, target player sacrifices a character times 3. So I was forced to sacrifice all of my characters. That It's just
I like it better when it
this
read.
card
I
is
read
good.
it better. I liked it better when it said to sacrifice target
Sacrifice
player.
target player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is dope. It's interesting. I tried to play it, but I did not get to play it. Because I think I only had the commons, which are a
Yeah,
little
the commons are
harder
weaker.
to justify, especially if you're spending the full 8 mana. So it ended up just being mana for me each game during the sealed event.
It does cost a lot. Hard to get
It
out for
is,
sure.
but
But with
again,
Catagear and the Acacia,
we just talked about like stall, win the game.
Yep.
Moth Lantern, 3 from hand, 2 from reserve. It is an expedition permanent. When you sacrifice a non-illusion character, you create a mana moth in the expedition, and you can sacrifice a character. Oh, I'm sorry. When you play it from hand, you can, or play it from anywhere, you can sacrifice a character in the expedition. It is a 2/2 for the rare version. It does the same thing. And Ortis has this. So now they can sacrifice the recruits to get a mana moth.
Yep, this I put it in my sealed deck, but it didn't
Didn't pan
really
out.
work out well. But this for Lindaway is great, and I think the exact spot that I put this in is I get rid of Baba's Isba and I play this, and it's great in Lindaway.
Nice. Icebound Pass. 4 from hand, 4 from reserve. It is a landmark permanent. When you exhaust a card in reserve, it gains a trial counter. Get 3 or more of them bad boys, you get yourself some dragons. For the rare, it just goes down a peg. It is a 3/3. And then it gets shifted into Axiom.
Yeah. I know Dexter said he liked all the others better than the Ortis one, but I think the Ortis one is better than this one.
Yeah, this one's bad.
It's just
I said I
harder to
like
pull off.
the Bravos and Muna one more. Those are the 2 really good ones. The rest are meh.
Yeah, the Muna one is.
I feel like
amazing.
this one's very good in like a sealed format where you're doing a lot of exhausting in reserve. I don't know. It's hard to tell what kind of cards are going to get adopted. Because this could be good. It might also not be, because a lot of cards that are doing a lot of exhausting in the reserve zone don't get adopted into constructed.
Yeah. This one can probably actually be better in Axiom than Ysmir. Because as we recently went over, the whole playing cards from your reserve, whether they're exhausted or not, and exhausting your opponent's cards and yada yada, you might find some places for this in Axiom.
All right, the Nillum, Withered Tree, another landmark permanent. When you exhaust a card in reserve, you may exhaust me to create a mana moth. When played from hand, you may exhaust target card in reserve. It is a 4/4, 4 from hand, 4 from reserve. The rare is a 3 from hand, 3 from reserve. When you exhaust a card in reserve, you may exhaust me to create a mana moth token and target expedition. No from hand ability. And then Axiom gets the common version.
Yeah, this is amazing. I have no idea why you would play the rare. There was a group of people talking about it at the pre-release I went to, and how busted it is. Because if you look at the common, it satisfies itself immediately upon entry.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I don't know if it's busted. I don't know if they were misunderstanding it, but I think it is a very good permanent, especially if you're running a lot of those exhausting cards in reserve. I mean, it triggers off of freeze, which is great. So that's a really good combo with freeze already.
Yeah. I think Ysmir's got good things going. In fact, I think a lot of the factions that were kind of lower on the totem pole got a lot going. Except
there's
for Lyra. I don't know if Lyra gained any ground.
They have the sleigh.
And is that the one that makes it double advance?
Yeah,
Yes.
the sleigh lets you double advance. I
like this tree a lot.
Enough.
This did some work against me in sealed.
Yeah, I think the thing is maybe some of the characters are not as amazing in Lyra, but some of the combinations that this creates are amazing. Sleight of Hand is a really good card. Joyride is a pretty good card. Silent Night is just kind of fun in the rolling experience. Winter Outfits, the Magic Sleigh, and Eat Me energy bars. Those are some wild shit. Are Eat Me energy bars not on here? I thought they were Lyra.
No, Eat Me energy bars are Bravos.
They're Bravos. I think they do go into Lyra off faction though.
Yeah, so they do go into Lyra. So
they do, yeah.
There's some fun to be had in Lyra. There's some wild shit that can happen. You just got to put it together.
And I will do my best.
And you got to play Arok.
Try to put it together. Yeah, you got to play Arok.
Arok forever.
One day. Just think Arok as a hero might have been a little. I think they might have made it too costly. I don't know.
If I could make one change to Arok that I think would make it a world better for a hero ability is switch the at noon to at dusk. It's amazing.
Okay.
But I you know what? I think I'll make an Arok deck for the locals on Thursday, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Please do. Because we can talk about that next Friday. Kind of an off-time episode for you guys, so we, I don't know if we apologize, but it was what it was. We all got lives outside of talking about Altered, and we're only the 67th best content creator, so...
Yeah, for a moment there, I thought Sunday was gonna be popping. We had a big audience at the start, but then we started talking about Ed and Eddie, and everyone bounced.
Yeah, nobody likes Ed and Eddie, I guess. My bad, guys. Sorry.
Thanks to everyone who did stop by, Doombringer and Sayonara. Thanks for your conversation. Appreciate it. I don't have anything else prepared. By the time this comes out, Ace Season 2 will be over.
Yeah,
we just wanted to finish up the spoilers, so I think we're all ready to go to bed unless y'all have anything else.
I am ready to go to bed.
Sounds good to me.
It has been a long few days, so hopefully we'll have some good stuff for you on Friday. We'll get the notes prepared, and we will see you all next week.
All of us serve the same masters. All of us nothing but slaves. Never forgetting the story of Jesus, the hero was killed by the state.
Just got done walking in the snow. Goddamn that motherfucker cold. Just got done walking in the snow. Goddamn that motherfucker cold. Just got done walking in the snow. Goddamn that motherfucker cold. Just got done walking in the snow. Goddamn that motherfucker cold.
Who really wanna run it with the Jew runners? Go hellfire hot in a new sauna. It's a cold winter, baby, and a cool summer. I suicide bomber in the blue Hummer. Emerge at the side out of